Hi, my name is Yogi Bhatia and I'm a legal intern at Lexis and Company. Today I'll be talking about confessions under the Indian Evidence Act. Though it is an undiscovered fact that the term confession is nowhere defined or expressed in the Indian Evidence Act, but the inference explained under the definition of admission in Section 17 of Indian Evidence Act also applies to confession in the same manner. Section 17 expressly provides that any statement, whether oral or in the form of documentary, which put forward for the consideration of any conclusion to the fact in issue or to the relevant facts. Now, after understanding the discovery of both the terms, it is very much clear that when it is put forward for the consideration of any interference to the fact in issue or to the relevant facts in the civil proceedings, then such consideration of statement is known as confession. Thus, confession is something which is made by the person who is charged with any criminal offences, and such statements conferred by him shall be suggesting a conclusion as to any fact in issue or as to relevant facts. The statements may infer any reasoning or concluding or suggesting that he is guilty of a crime. We may also define the confession in other words that the admission by the accused in the criminal proceeding is a confession. In Pakala Narayan Swamy versus Emperor, Lord Atkin observed that a confession must be either be admitted in the context of any offence or in relation with any substantial fact which inaugurates the offence, its criminal proceedings, and an admission of serious wrongdoing, even conclusively incriminating fact, is not itself a confession. In Palvinder Kaur vs. State of Punjab, the Supreme Court uplifted the Privy Council decision in Pakala Narayan Swamy case and substantiated the arguments over two reasoning. Firstly, the definition of confession only comes to exist where the statements conferring to the admission that he is either guilty of any offence or the admission is probating all the facts which constitute the offences. Secondly, when the statement has different qualities and contains such a mixture of confession statements which conclude to the acquittal of the person making to the confession, then such statements cannot be measured as a confession. In Nishi Khan Jha vs. State of Bihar, the Supreme Court highlighted that there is no wrong or relying some part of the statement confessed by the accused and neglecting the other part. The court has laid out this concept from English law, and then when the court in its capacity understood that it has enough evidence to neglect the exemplary part of the confession, then it may rely on the inculpatory part of such confession. Conclusively, when we can understand that the expression of confession means any statements made by an accused which proves his guilt, and there is such a thin line difference between the two terminologies of the Indian Evidence Act that admission is no other different term than admission, as a confession only ends up in admission of guilt by the accused. So, a person accused of any offence makes any statement against him which may prove his guilt is called confession or confessional statement. It is observed that the confession are grades of admission which makes it special. Thus, it is popularly administered that all confessions are admissions, but not all admissions are confessions. In Baburao Bajirao Patel vs. State of Maharashtra, the court, while deciding the case, explained the principle that the court, before ascertaining the facts or the purpose of deciding the fact and issue of the case, should begin ascertaining the case facts with all other evidence possible related to the case, and then only it shall return to the approach of confession by the accused in order to administer complete justice to the conclusion of guilt of the accused. Meaning of admission. Admission plays a vital part in judicial proceedings, as if in a case either by parties to the suit in the judicial proceeding overs proves that the other party has admitted the fact and issue or the relevant facts in the case, then it becomes easy for the court to administer justice effectively, as the court need not take much evidence and is not involved in the judicial proceeding because the question of the case has already been settled by either of the parties in the course of admission. Section 17 to Section 23 of the Indian Evidence Act specifically deals with the portion relating to admission. The word admission expressed in the Evidence Act means when any person voluntarily acknowledges the existence of fact in an issue of facts. Like in the case of confession, we discovered that confession is not much described in the Evidence Act. In the same manner, the Indian Evidence Act also has not done much effective work on expressing the term admission in an outspread sense. Section 17 of the Indian Evidence Act defines admission as any statement made in either form, such as oral, documentary, or an electronic form, which has enough probative value to suggest or conclude any interference as to any fact in issue or relevant fact. Admissions have no definite pattern, but still it can either be formal or informal. The formal admission is called a judicial admission, which is made at the time of the judicial proceeding, while the informal admission is those admissions which are made during the normal day-to-day activity, like in the normal course of life. Formal admissions or the judicial admissions are completely admissible by the court of law under Section 58 of the same Act and has much higher probative value into the substantive any fact. They are generally rebuttable in nature and require no further proof to disprove the facts admitted in a court of law unless the court asks for the same. In Nagindas Ramdas or the Dalpatra Micharam, the Supreme Court of India explained the effects of admission that admissions are generally true and clear of any ambiguity, and they shall be considered as the best proof of proving any fact in issue or relevant fact by admission of certain facts.